is Mystery Babylon. A lot of people in today's teachings online, you'll see a lot of the United States is Babylon, or maybe other places. But the true Mystery Babylon we're going to reveal today. We're going to see what the Bible says about that. And we're going to relate that to today's time to try to figure out what nation, what city, what part of the world is Mystery Babylon. Let's take a look. We talk about Mystery Babylon in the Bible, which is one of the great mysteries of the New Testament. It's found in Revelation, and we'll go to chapter 17. So that whole chapter speaks of Mystery Babylon. What you need to remember, historically speaking, about Mystery Babylon is it is not just a religion, it's also a city-state, but it's also a world power. And today, Mystery Babylon continues through history and has always been there in different forms of power. So that's something to remember. The United States, it hasn't been always around. In fact, it's, 400 years old. So the Mystery Babylon goes back 4,000 years. And so there came one of the seven angels which had the seven vials. So this is in Revelations when the seven vials are going to be poured out. That's God's wrath and the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters, with whom the kings of the earth had committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of fornication. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a gold cup in her hand full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. So in Revelation 4, you see a clue here: purple, scarlet, and gold. Who in history has had purple, scarlet, and gold? What empire? The Roman Empire. Julius Caesar wore purple gold. And also you see today, starting at about 500 AD, the Roman Catholic clergy dressed up in these 3 colors: purple, scarlet, and gold. And the Pope dresses the best of them all. And you can really see that. If you look at this picture, so here you see a lot of the different people. They're purple and scarlet, and then the Pope, scarlet, purple, and gold. So you really see that in the outfits of the Catholic Church. And that verse 5, and upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abomination of the earth. So this religion declares herself mother. What religion today calls herself Queen Mother? That would be or what you might say, Mother Church. That would be the Catholic Church. And 431 AD, the Council of Ephesus. And Babylon, the Queen Mother, was Semiramis. Today, it's Mary. So that sort of Babylonian tradition carried through from Babylon to the Roman Empire into the Roman Catholic Church today. And I saw the woman drunk with the blood of the saints and with the blood of martyrs of Jesus. So what religion or what group have persecuted Christians the most? If you think about the Dark Ages, and you think about the Reformation, when the Protestants broke away from the Catholics and people were being burnt at the stake and murdered and burned for not converting back to Catholics, for not converting back to Catholic religion under control of the Catholic Church. So the blood of those martyrs of Jesus were that Catholic Church that was killing. And if you look at the numbers, of just pure numbers, the Catholic Church has killed more than any other religion has persecuted Christians. So she is drunk with the blood of the saints. And then, so at this point, there was a marvel. John was marveling of the beast, and basically the angel saying, "Why are you doing that?" But So here in verse 9, and here is the mind which hath wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sits. So we're talking about the Roman Catholic Church. Does it sit on 7 hills? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes, it does. But the Vatican Square, what most people see today, does not sit on one of these hills. So that's what a lot of people will sort of refute. Will say, like, in defense of the Catholic Church, like, hey, it's not one of those seven hills. And, that is true, but here's what's interesting. If you look at what's called the Lateran Palace, which is this, and this is the Vatican website, Vatican.com. It's actually the place where the Pope resides today, 313 AD, but later on became the papal residency, which is what it's known for today, and that does sit on one of those 7 hills. It sits on the one of these 7 hills. So essentially, if you consider this to be, it is the residence of the Pope, then it makes sense that, the Vatican, headed up by the Pope, that Roman Catholic Church is the city that sits on 7 hills, just like it says in the Scriptures. Whoa, what happened there? Click something here. Hold on. And so when you look at the fact that the Roman Catholic Church is called Queen Mother, when you look at the fact that they're drunken with the blood of saints in Revelation 17:6, if you look upon the fact that it has been established, Romans have established the place of 7 hills, which the Vatican is. So what's interesting about the Vatican is it's and so if you scroll further down, that you will see that she'll make war with the Lamb, but the Lamb shall overcome the beast and the Antichrist system, which the horror will be a part of, which the Roman Catholic Church will be a part of. And he said unto me, the waters which thou sawest where the whore sitteth are peoples. So the water is actually people and multitudes and nations and tongues that have been fornicating with the whore. And so think about how you would fornicate with the whore. Well, certainly to have power and dominion over the governments of the world, the Roman Catholic Church and the Pope. Think about a country who had millions of Catholics, like the United States, for example, or many countries in Europe or other places. Imagine the power the Pope could use to negotiate with those governments. If they don't do their bidding or do what they wish, they'll tell the people not to follow the leader. That leader could be then overthrown, or that political party possibly, if it doesn't fornicate with the Roman Catholic Church. So the city that reigns over the king of the earth, well, that's Vatican City. And I think it's apparent when you look at it that you can see. Now, eventually she will be burned with fire. So Rome will be, I believe, in my opinion, be nuked sometime during the tribulation. That's sort of what this, at some point, I don't know where in the tribulation, but maybe during the war in the beginning of the tribulation. And the woman which thou sawest is that great city. So in verse 18, which reigneth over the kings of the earth. So it's not just, it's not just 7 hills. It's not just a country. It's a city. So what city has a religious center of power and is itself a city? Well, and its own nation. Well, that would be the Vatican City. It's not just Rome itself, but particularly Vatican City. So when you look at 17, and I believe it carries on into 18. Let's take a look. Yeah, and then angel came down from heaven, great power, and the earth was lightened with his his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and has become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all the nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her. And the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacy. So what city has like a multitude of purchasing of gold and fine gems and fine just ornate, marble and design? The Vatican City has done that. Well, she has purchased all this from merchants all around the world, and they've waxed rich with the abundance of her delicacies. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that you be not partakers of her sins, and that you not receive her plagues, for her sins have reached unto heaven, and God hath remembered her iniquities. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her, double according to her works, and a cup which she hath filled to her double. And it keeps going on. And the kings of the earth have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her, shall bewail her and lamentate for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning. So this will be utterly burned with fire. And in the great city Babylon, the mighty city, for in 1 hour the judgment shall come. So what makes sense today that like in 1 hour would destroy a city? That would be a nuclear weapon. And the merchants there shall weep and mourn over her. 18 verse 11, for no man buyeth their merchandise any more. So the merchandise of gold, silver, precious stones, pearls, and fine linen, purple and silk and scarlet, and all thine wood, in the manner of vessels of ivory, and the manner of vessels of precious wood, of brass and iron and marble. These are the things that the Roman Catholic Church and the Vatican purchased. And cinnamons and odors and ointments and frankincense and wine and oil and fine flour and wheat, beasts and sheep and horses and chariots, slaves and souls of men. These are the fruits of that soul that lusted after are departed from thee. But this is after she was destroyed, and all the weeping and wailing for the loss of having the riches from her that they would buy the merchandise. And, sort of makes sense with talk about candles and oils and ointments and odors. And the Roman Catholic Church is known for burning candles and selling crosses and ornaments and gold and silver crosses and with all these precious stones and silver in it to who? They're members of their church, who really are partaking in sort of pagan rituals of idol worship and Mary worship, which is evil. But certainly Revelation 17 shows you that truly that the mystery Babylon is not the United States, but truly it is Vatican City. It is the Roman Catholic Church. And with all the clues that you see there, it's easy to see with the scarlet, purple, and gold decked out Pope and all the gold and silver and gems and the 7 hills that the Vatican resides in Rome, and even in one of their papal estates resides on that hill. And you can see that the Vatican, if you look in conspiracies, and they control a lot of the world, the Jesuits, the Masons, even Islam was sort of had some influence in Roman Catholic Church. The wife of Muhammad was a Roman Catholic. But anyway, the mystery Babylon continues today. It continued through the Roman Empire, through Julius Caesar and on, and then once that power ended in terms of military power, it converted to a religious center, a city, the Vatican, with a pope